I'm Simon.
And I'm Jeff.
Just realized that all the intros that I thought of were for a different subject. But that's
Well, we'll just cycle through those until we find one that fits.
I mean, they're kind of specific.
We'll go through each of them, and then process of elimination, the listener will know what we're talking about. Because there'll only be one thing left.
Because that's what I prepared. I prepared an infinite number of intros, an infinite minus one number of intros.
Right.
No,
it's going to be a long episode. Settle in, everybody.
As everybody knows that we record on Sundays. The Sundays before we release on Tuesdays, because we have no ability to maintain a proper schedule that doesn't involve us having immediate turnaround. Listen, we've tried.
They're called deadlines.
They're called deadlines. And you know what?
You do everything right before.
Exactly. You edit at work the day before it gets to be released. Yeah, well, I mean, I bring up the fact that it's Sunday because I am still in my pajamas. I am in a hoodie. And, you know, it's reminiscent of the days when I would be at my friend's house because, obviously, I didn't have cable.
Right.
I believe I brought this up before.
Yeah.
Because, I just didn't have cable. But I'd be at my friend's house, and we'd be watching... I've never understood Saturday morning cartoons. I never watched cartoons on Saturday mornings. I only watched them on Sunday mornings.
Or do they record all the Saturday morning cartoons for you, or did you watch Sunday morning cartoons?
I watched Sunday morning cartoons, but
I see.
I think Sunday morning cartoons were just like the reruns.
The bad Saturday morning cartoons.
No, I think that they were just the reruns of the Saturday morning cartoons. So, like, instead of getting, like, the new episode of Avatar, you would get, like, an episode of Avatar that was from, like, 2 seasons back.
Okay.
Yeah. So, or you'd get, like, some, like, weird, like, the same kind of garbage that they would put, like, as their, like, filler programming. That was Sunday mornings for me.
It was the filler arcs of all of the Saturday morning TV shows.
That's exactly what it was. Like, Ned's Declassified... entire show is nothing but filler arcs. So that's like the kind of thing you would watch on Sunday, that I would watch on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
One thing though that I never really watched, but my brother watched a ton of, because he also watched like Johnny Bravo and Courage the Cowardly Dog. I don't know how. Maybe he didn't. I don't know.
What, you don't know how I got access to them?
Yeah, because I didn't have access to them. And and my brother is quite a few years my elder, so I was a small child, knowing that there was
maybe your folks saw the negative influence Johnny Bravo was having on your brother and decided to cut cable right off.
I mean, that's maybe not incorrect. But very committal stance there. But yeah, so he used to watch Dexter's Laboratory, and that's this week's episode. It was that was a long walk, a little rambling.
Yeah, no, we finally found the dog underneath that Shaggy Dog story.
Yeah, and it was the reason I bring it up is because the only reason it occurred to me that we could do this as this episode occurred to me like 2 hours ago.
Right.
And it only occurred to me because it's 2:30 on a Sunday. I'm still in my pajamas. The only amount of clothes I've changed since I woke up was I put on wool socks because I am cold.
Because your tootsies were cold.
Yes. And it very much feels like this is like a day when I would be like, this is a day I'm not going to do anything. This is going to be the best day. And that's what today kind of
And then you remembered we had to record a podcast.
And then I remember we had to record a podcast. Exactly. Also, I need to go to Walmart and pick up an immersion blender. And nail polish. But other than that...
For the immersion blender.
For the immersion, yeah. Well, because it's got to be really shiny. I like all of my utensils nice and shiny.
Right.
That's why I have nail polish all the time.
Right.
Anyway.
The logical reason.
The logical reason. Yeah, because you want things to be sparkly and nicely colored. Like, I'm sick of this. Every appliance is going to be white. White just gets dirty. It just gets smattered with food stuff. If you
So instead, you put some glitter on it. You don't see any of the dirty.
No, it's just too bright. All of my kitchen appliances are bedazzled, like a jean jacket from the early 90s.
Is that why you tell me to avert my gaze anytime I like come near your kitchen?
Yeah, it'll burn your retinas. It is. They are all, like, if you haven't realized this, listener, the bedazzle beads are all conical lenses that will focus light. Anyway, so Dexter's Laboratory. For anyone who doesn't know, it was a cartoon series from the mid '90s. I think it was like '94 to '96 or something like that. That was about a small child. Yeah, it was about a small child, and I'm also realizing we could have also just done Jimmy Neutron, because that would essentially have been the same exact show.
Right.
And that one I have more references for. But anyway, Dexter's Laboratory.
I mean, we can pivot.
No, I mean,
I won't stop you.
Listen. I've already had to sacrifice 2 hours of my time to just booting up this number of tabs in Chrome. We're doing this. It's sunk cost fallacy is alive and well in my mind. Anyway,
I mean, it just leaves open for more content. It's not sunk cost yet.
It's true. Maybe if we can't find enough content in this episode, we'll be like, oh, and we totally meant to do Jimmy Neutron as well. They're the same. Anyway, so this was a Cartoon Network show, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes.
Where you had a small child, and he was a genius. He had a laboratory. He invented things. And he had an older sister who was an idiot and who would destroy his inventions.
Right.
And then they would just get into, mishaps.
Just comical sibling spats in a super laboratory.
Exactly. Jeff, it's almost like you've seen the show before. It's incredible.
Yeah, right? Crazy.
In fact, this is probably perfectly positioned for your childhood of realizing. As you are just enough older than me, I think, to have probably watched this and been conscious.
Well, we'll find out.
I guess we
Together.
will. This will be our journey. Sorry. Oh, wait, give me a second. I've got to turn my headphones around so that my mic stops hitting my pop filter. It's very annoying. So now my mic is just sticking out of the back of my head. Anyway.
And you'd think there'd be like a better solution for that, huh?
Well, I mean, I can't remove the mic from the headphones without, doing some...
Ripping it out of your headphones.
Yeah, without, cutting the wires that go to the mic in my headphones. Excuse me. So, here we go. First thing. We're going to do Dexter's Laboratory. We're going to stick to inventions and not the weird things that happen extraordinarily.
Right.
So let's start off with an easy one. It's kind of familiar territory for us. It is called the animal atomizer.
Okay.
And I know what you're thinking. An atomizer exists. That's not a new invention. In fact, that is a device that just makes very small droplets. And when you put the word animal in front of it, it kind of seems like
you're turning animals into very small droplets.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But that's not what this is. This is a machine that can turn people into different kinds of animals.
All right.
And that is literally that is the description for this device. I know it seems crazy, but it is.
Huh. Okay, so it just turns people into, and do the people retain their intelligence and people brain?
They do. They're peopledom. Yes.
Yes.
And it seems like you don't have to go back to a human after being hit with this. I'm assuming it's a ray. I think it's a ray. The actual device is just kind of like a remote control with a big red button on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also a little confused as to how you choose what animal you turn into.
I mean, maybe it's just set to random.
This is bringing back the God sphere idea we had from Bionicles. Where it's just chooses a random new thing for this object to be. Yeah. So it's gotta be, it's random. I like that idea. I like the fact that it has no control over what it can turn you into. But how do we think it is turning you into that thing?
That is a good question.
Where Jeff will sit and think.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm speaking in a circle until I come up with something.
I got it's you've almost got like a hamster wheel way of thinking, of like powering your thought. Like you need like these tautologies to just create circular energy, and that powers your brain to go new place, greater and
right. Well, heights. I mean, I also don't know how much you edit the podcast because I am not a fan of it.
I do hate it. I think it is absolutely horrible.
So I don't know if you edit out all of my garbage like this and just cut to the good stuff, or if I need to fill in content for us while we think.
Well, it matters, Jeff. It matters how late am I remembering that I have to edit the podcast. Is it 4 o'clock on Monday night? Is it 4 o'clock on Sunday night? Who knows? So it's probably a 50-50 shot you have of me actually going through and cleaning up the podcast, or me being like, you know what, I'll just remove the silences, remove the noise, and it'll be fine.
Right. So are we thinking it rearranges people? I mean, it's an atomizer, so it's got to rearrange like per atom, I would imagine. So is it just like swapping out people parts for animal parts, and it works like a Star Trek teleporter?
People parts for animal parts. And it's just moving so fast that it's, faster than the frame rate of the human eye.
Yeah. Or is it like converting all of the, like, I guess probably the DNA even to like make it as though they were that animal initially. Here's
the thing about changing their DNA. I don't think that would be instantaneous enough. Because like...
Right. Continue. I'll pick it apart in a second.
You'd have to generate all of the new proteins that would make up that creature. So it would take you like 7 years to become the new creature. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. I was thinking in terms of, like, it swaps everything. Like, it gives you the new set of animal parts and also the DNA to go along with it to, like, continue existing as that animal. As opposed to, like, having cancers in form of people tissue.
I like that idea because it seems like they're not... I know they are. I was going to say, it seems like they're only doing vertebrates, but they do a spider. I said doo-doo.
You did. You snuck it in there. You got it past me this one time.
Yeah. We're going to have to take that clean comedy for that. Not for the swear word.
Put an explicit tag on there.
Not for the 2 swear words I've missed in 50 episodes. It's going to be me saying doo-doo. And yes, I do know where those swear words are because people have told me where they are, and I've just been too lazy to fix them.
Well, I mean, every episode gets one, right? That's the rule.
Yeah, and none of our swear words are particularly bad. I mean, they're like
they're your mundane swear words.
Yeah, that we're shouting into our mics right now, but it's being removed by Simon editing later on.
Good job editing, Simon.
Thank you, Jeff. It means a lot. That was a pretty good meta joke, if I say so myself. Because we weren't saying anything. I'm eating a pickle. Okay, yeah.
Pickle is your choice of...
I know, I couldn't have chosen
of, like, mid-podcast snack.
Listen, I already drank all the pickle juice in the pickle jar, and then I realized, well, I
You
can't.
know, you have to burn through these pickles
Yeah,
now.
because now their preservative has gone away.
Right.
So it was a mistake. I'm sorry. Oh god, I got pickle juice on my nose. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I like this. I like this idea. I, you think that it's just like removing out like cell by cell humans with animal cells.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
how does it work? How does it work if the
I
animals
thought you were going to start there. How's it work?
just as it work, Jeff? I was more wondering, how does it work if the animal's larger or smaller? Does it so does it just like do like just like top down, you know, and then like in the middle of the does this mean that in the middle of the printing, I'm gonna say, of like the animal, if like you're printing a rhino, you have like a decent amount of mass of rhino that is just unconnected to any other rhino. Or kind of like a dino plate.
I think maybe like there's the stock animal like preserved in jars or something.
Yeah, obviously.
That are just like being line replaced.
Yeah,
when someone gets animal atomized.
Yeah, it's really just like a compression algorithm for all animals.
Mm-hmm.
So probably like the stuff that like occurs in most animals or most mammals, you know, you can be like, okay, this is gonna be for everything. You're gonna make this kind of cell.
Right.
Yeah, I like it. I think it works. I don't know how the animal atomizer does it from afar. Do we think it's lasers? Or
5G.
5G. Oh, there you go.
That's it.
Yeah, 5G. It brings you global pandemics and the ability to reset everyone's genetic and body codes to that of various animals.
Yeah, and that's why they needed to make it to have such a high transfer speed, you know?
Exactly. Because that is the height of the 5G transfer speed. It can transfer the entire genetic code of a completely different creature into you near instantaneously, so you don't realize it.
Yep.
So the thing I'm thinking of is I'm seeing a couple of issues with this, and I did not realize that this was going to be such a fruitful discussion. But so I'm thinking like if it builds you from the ground up. Then it can it can create like a sticky almost like a 3D printing, but like at an angle. So like it's just firing cells and they're sticking to the cells underneath it.
Right.
Like almost like a electron gun for like the CRTs is kind of what I'm thinking. Like where they fire. The issue I have with that though is that if we're assuming that you're keeping your brain, you're keeping your humanness, how? Like you can't like
how do you make that brain fit in a spider?
Yeah. Or say a chihuahua or an elephant.
That is a good question. Do you think that the animal that you are replaced with is just kind of like remotely controlled with like your brain that gets swapped out to somewhere in the atomizing process?
I like that idea better than what I was going to say, which was that your brain gets fit into all the interstitial parts of the creature.
I was thinking that too, though. Like, that was my first thought also.
It was like, yeah, I mean, if you have a bigger creature, that's simple. You just don't give it the larger brain. You just give it the human brain and, you know, fill in the goo around it. But if it's a smaller creature... I mean, but you couldn't do it with like a spider or an ant. I think that's too small. I like your idea better. That instead of it replacing or keeping the brain, it stores your brain consciousness, and then it just kind of builds like a faux brain that is connected to your own brain, but is the right size and shape for the creature. And then also allows you to get around problems like if you're an invertebrate, you have like a completely different set of neurotransmitters than what would be in a vertebrate brain. All right, I'm liking it. We did it. We got this.
Yeah.
Your 3D printing stuff.
That was easy.
It was easy.
3D printing stuff, some 5G, and you're good to go.
Exactly.
You're like halfway through picking it apart, though, aren't you?
Oh, I was halfway through. I was looking at, I'm looking at other inventions, and I'm like, what is it? What is it I want to go into?
Oh yeah, you have probably a lot of options.
I for sure do. I'm gonna go with this next one because I think it'll work. These are called the ant pants. Okay.
Are they pants made out of ants?
No. I thought that they were gonna do something with that name. Like, is this like are they trying to annoy Dee Dee with like filling her pants with literal ants?
Right.
Like no, it seems that it's like it's just a single layer of pun. The episode is about ants, and so they were like, well, ant pants. They rhyme. Right. It's a slogan, cliche, euphemism.
I'm
metaphor.
Not sure if it's any of those yet.
Analogy. Yeah. So in this invention is it's a ant suit that you wear.
Okay.
That has 4 ant legs and then your own 2 arms, so you have the same limbs of an ant.
That is far less interesting than I was hoping it would be.
What do you think it was going to be?
I was hoping that it was a suit made out of ants.
No, yeah. See, again, the name implies that. Nope, didn't happen. It's a suit for ants, and then when it is combined with a shrink ray, it allows you to communicate, to enter and then communicate with an ant colony.
Okay.
So I guess there's kind of 2 things here. One is the communication level with ants. And the other one is it's a shrink ray. How? Yeah. There's a lot of
your standard run-of-the-mill shrink ray.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would imagine for communication-wise, the suit has pheromones cooked into it.
Just baked right in.
Yeah, and for whatever, like, you're trying to say, you're, like, interfaced with a computer, and the suit will push out whatever pheromones it needs to communicate what you're trying to say.
Okay. So do you think that, is there an issue with, like, obviously I'm a human being, I have complex thought. Like, I understand humor because I understand that, when I'm feeling fearful, but there isn't an actual, like, fear there, I have a very complicated response to that to trick my body into being like, no, you shouldn't be afraid of that.
Right. Well, we all know that only harvester ants experience anxiety like humans do.
Only harvester ants.
But aside from that, I think, like, the suit would just, like, as part of it, it's picking up your brainwaves, whatever you're saying, and translating it however best it can.
Okay. Okay. Does it also seem like maybe it's like, do you think that it's like a cutoff? Like, if you're anxious or something, it's something that's too complex that might cause an issue with ants. It might just not send out that pheromone.
Yeah, it just won't say that. Yeah. Because, like, there isn't a way to convey that.
Well, you don't say that
for ants to understand.
You smell that. That's how that would work.
Right.
In ant culture, the phrase "smell you later" is literal.
People don't do that? Have I misunderstood how to greet people this whole time, Simon?
I mean, I enjoy it, but it is a little weird at times.
Okay. Huh. Weird.
Yeah. So, and now we have we're going to assume that the technology used to communicate is purposefully designed to shrink. Like, that spacecraft, stealthcraft, that is supersonic, and so it's built with it's built ill-fitting, so that when the heat of the movement heats up the parts, they expand into place. I would think of this ant technology as being the opposite of that. So, like, it's meant to be, it probably doesn't work so great and in full size, but when you shrink it down, you get, like, superconduction and things like that, because you're really packing those atoms next to each other.
Right.
Here's the thing, okay? How does a shrink ray work?
Well, it makes things smaller.
I think I have a solution to this, and
all right. Well, that's good because I had nothing.
I came up with it while I was talking because I was like, superconductors. Yeah, those are.
You can see it works. Just keep talking, you'll find something.
Yeah, it's a little hamster wheel. Because if you think about it, if you're able to freeze something at a low enough temperature, eventually the object doesn't have enough energy to keep the atoms apart. They start collapsing in on themselves. I believe it's called a Bose-Einstein condensate. What I'm thinking is, what if they have they're near 0 Kelvin, like very low energy, and so their atoms are in the process of just collapsing in on themselves, and they're kind of held in that like metastable state. But
okay, so you just blast someone with a ray that does that.
Well, here's the thing. I think what's happening here is, I think the energy, instead of being removed like you would have in like a freeze ray, obviously, or a refrigerator, instead what you have is you have like an energy pathway. So like the suit you're in collects like a very innocuous radiation, so like radio waves. And it uses that to keep you alive, right? Like it uses that to keep your body from dying because you're at 0.4 Kelvin or something like that. And then but it also emits radio waves back at whatever the shrink ray originally is. So like there's like this transfer where it's like this delicate balance between what will kill the person and what will keep them very small.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that works, because that's the issue I'm having, is that if you're gonna freeze, people don't live in the vacuum of space.
I love that. People don't freeze well.
Yeah. Freeze dryers are not meant for people, unless you're trying to kill them, and then they probably do work well for people.
Perfect for people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I guess that could work. So it, like, the suit definitely facilitates the success of shrinking a person.
Oh yeah.
And keeping them alive.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't just.
Yeah, I like that is part of it, because otherwise you're just doing a murder.
Oh, you did a murder, Dexter. Murder-suicide, you and your sister. I like that too. I also think that we're really playing into like the Atom and Ant-Man, and literally every superhero that ever shrinks in size needs a suit that can withstand that, whatever magic that happens. Okay, I like it. So next invention. This is an invention. This is Dexter's most powerful invention. It is called the neuroatomic protocore. Again, these are meaningless words.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might want to unpack that a little bit, because it means nothing.
Yeah, because protocore would mean it was an early core, right?
Right.
And neuroatomic would be a combination, I'm assuming, of brain, neuro, and atomic, which I think is... It's not a suffix, so...
Yeah.
It is meaningless.
I mean, well, I guess we'll have to figure out, like, what is it aside from, like, is it a thing that you drink?
Yeah, I want to see, what do you think it is?
I mean, well, and that's the thing, like, neurotonic, like, alright, so classic snake oil. Got it, easy.
Tomic.
Atomic?
Yeah, like atomic, but
is that a word?
No, it's not.
Oh, I entirely misunderstood.
Yeah, if it was
that first one is nothing. Protocore is like an early like build of whatever core they were working with.
Yeah. This is the beta core. Or this is pre beta core. This is protocore. Protocore sounds like it would be like a style of music.
Yeah.
So here's what it actually is. It is a core, a power source.
Okay.
That, when harnessed properly, with good intentions and set to a positive energy emission, it can grant high intelligence through its centralized neurotomin information. It doesn't make any sense. Okay.
No, it doesn't.
Again, I'm reading off of the fan wiki for Dexter's laboratory, so sentence structure becomes iffy.
It's true to the source material.
Yeah. Teletronic matter manipulation allows those who harness the energy to materialize objects out of thin air. The energy wave it emits can enrich the environment to a near utopian state. However, if used with evil intentions and negative energy emission, it twists the user's minds, granting them near infinite intellect, while draining away both intelligence on all others who are hit by its energy waves and the life of the surrounding environment.
So it is like a vibes machine. If you feed it good vibes, it amplifies them. If you feed them bad vibes, it amplifies those as well. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, it's very similar to the My Little Pony power system of friendship.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, my computer went to sleep.
That's fine. Don't need that.
Yeah. What if it's like this? I'm looking at the word protocore, okay, and I'm thinking like, you could interpret proto as the simplest form of something.
Okay.
So like think like languages. You have like the proto Eurasian whatever, which is the constructed language that was constructed out of all current existing languages that come out of Europe, Asia, and North Africa. So when I'm thinking protocore, maybe it's like the earliest, simplest form of energy, right? Like it's below, like you got atoms, you got subatomic particles, you've got quarks, you've got strings of energy, and then you've got the thing beneath that, and that's what protocore is. It's the earliest base material.
Okay. I don't
see where I'm going with this.
Know how that would affect whatever it's doing.
So what I'm saying is maybe the earliest, and I'm not a subatomic physicist, but maybe
could have fooled me, Simon.
I know, right? With all of my knowledge I have of, maybe at the end of this I'll tell you my very, very good particle physics pickup line.
Okay, we'll save that for the after hours episode.
Listen, I've been through a lot of college and a lot of schooling, and I get bored very easily.
You get bored very easily, and a lot of subatomic particles try to hit on you.
Well, I'm trying to hit on subatomic particles. I mean...
I see.
Those guys. Anyway, we don't need to get into my specific
predilections.
Predilections is better than fetishes. Okay, so I'm thinking that. So what if the base form of energy is just like good or bad vibes? Like just like a 1 or a -1 in terms of energy. Like almost like...
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying there, Ron?
Mm-hmm. I get you there.
So maybe that's what Dexter has harnessed. He's harnessed a pure form of this solid energy. Maybe it's like the combination, almost as if the world is in binary, of like how many good or bad vibes a thing has. It makes up those energy systems, and then those energy systems make up the particle systems. Then larger particle systems come out of that,
right,
until you get to macroscopic world. Obviously, you have like huskies that whine when their owners,
when they exist ever.
Yeah, when their owners talk to them. Those are obviously made out of just good energy, and then
right.
Those times when you find out that what you thought was going to be like maybe $100 fix to your car, turns out your car is totaled and you got to get a new car. That's obviously the negative the negative world. And I'm sure there's people out there saying, well, there are worse things in the world than having your car get totaled.
But not in Simon's world happening right now, it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, listen, I get really attached to my car. So there you go. Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, so I am with you where it kind of is this, like, fundamental positive, negative vibes kind of, like, engine, I guess. And touching on, it's like whatever the user inputs in it is what it, like, amplifies and outputs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that makes sense to me. Like, it just takes whatever that input is and, like, harmonizes with it and amplifies those vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how you get the good, bad vibes. I guess the thing we gotta do is, how does it do things like materialize objects or amplify your intelligence?
Does it only amplify the intelligence, like, with one of the two binary options, I guess, because there's only good and bad vibes?
So here's the thing. It amplifies your intelligence more if you're in the bad intentions. It is less if you're in the good intentions. So, but what if it's this, okay? I think I have an idea.
Okay.
Like, philosophically, it's a lot easier to be greedy than it is to be altruistic. And, yeah. Like, it takes a lot more input energy, I guess I would say. Like, if all you're doing is just trying to make sure you are doing a good job, that takes less input energy than not only are you doing good, but, like, everyone else around you is doing good. Make sense?
Yes and no. Like, on a base level, sure, it makes sense, but then you, like, kind of extend that to... And then there's anxieties about being greedy, which make it terribly more complex and involved than not.
Okay, I agree with that, but I think that the mind alteration that occurs within this negative energy space would mean
doesn't
that,
account for, like, the anxieties. Yeah, that makes sense to me, because those are, like, I don't know, I guess would be derived, like, several steps down the line. But if you're just being fed these, like, the negative vibes making the greedy, then it doesn't really, like, matter.
Yeah, so I think that this is really an issue of perception rather than an issue of actual, measurable consequences.
Right.
Where just because it gives you the same amount of intelligence, but because it's, it takes a lot less intelligence to see more intelligence if all you're doing is your own stuff. If you're operating within your own system. Okay. And then if you're operating in other people's systems, you need more intelligence to do the same thing, but you're
okay, yeah, I can see what you're getting behind.
Yeah,
I get you there.
Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna say. I don't know how it makes you intelligent though. I'm intelligent though. I am wondering if it actually doesn't make you more intelligent, but what it
just makes you more confident.
No. What I was going to say is that maybe because it's such a purified form of energy that its mass is incredibly dense, and it's actually slowing time down as you approach it. So it feels like you're thinking faster, but you're really not. And I understand what you're saying. That's not how time dilation works. But shut up. I knew it.
Just very localized time dilation, and the person also looks like they're moving very slow.
Oh yeah,
but they're thinking very fast.
Oh yeah. Well, what if it does this? What if it like supercharges your brain? So it's your brain is made up of electrical pathways. So maybe when it gets bombarded by a high amount of energy, your brain acts kind of like
just overclocking your brain.
Kind of, yeah. Like your brain acts like a net, and it catches the energy, but too full. So not only is your brain like now like running with like a lot more energy, there's a lot less like metabolites and things being generated because you're not burning NADP or NATP to create thought. Now you also have this increased amount of energy in your brain that's making your brain denser and therefore time dilating just your brain. So your body feels like it's moving a lot faster, but it's just your brain being time dilated, and also is hyper
I
supercharged.
feel like
I'm a genius.
we don't necessarily need the time dilation aspect if we go with we're just overclocking the brain.
Fine, Jeff.
And it like thinks at like twice as many cycles as it normally would.
Fine.
Because it has more energy.
And it's obviously it's not producing metabolites, so you don't need to do things like sleep as much. You know, you don't have the other issues that come about from what would come about from an accelerated level of thought. Yeah. But that makes sense. I like this. How could it materialize objects from thin air?
Man, I kept hoping you'd forget about that part because I don't know on that. I mean, I guess maybe it's just whatever, like, those, like, that fundamental good vibes that it's making, like, spontaneously generates things.
Yeah, I guess here's also the thing. We're not, I mean, it just means that the proto core is composed of the good energies. It doesn't, maybe that's exactly what it does. Like, it can instill upon the world its own energy, to generate objects, because it's so it has to kind of build them up from their most base principle. And it's not that it also has control over the negative energy. It's just that when it's set in the positive energy mode, the main form of it is in this positive energy mode.
Right.
I mean, that makes sense to me. Anyone out there who's a nuclear physicist
should rethink your career and your degree, because we cracked it.
Yeah, we did it. And you didn't. Listen, Einstein is a chump. And I know what you're thinking.
But, you know, we appreciate all the groundwork that they laid out for us to use today when we solved the good vibes problem.
The good vibes problem, yes. Classically, I believe it's called the good vibes paradox. It was set up by the Beach Boys in their song "Good Vibrations." So I'm thinking, what do you want to do? Free energy or infinite energy, or do you want to do a robot or
I feel like we've done a lot of robots. I also feel like infinite energy will be very difficult.
What about a machine that makes you not have nightmares?
Oh man, that'd be cool.
Wouldn't it? I want to send you an anatomical image of what this of how this works.
Okay.
So here's what I have. That's the blueprints. As you can see, it says n squared pi bicubic.
Yep.
And also it has a nexus center, and then for some reason it has this
nexus sector,
and then also a square root of pi, or maybe that's pi, n squared.
Yep.
As a separate part of the brain.
Yep.
Yeah. So here's the question.
What does any of this mean?
Exactly.
That is a good question.
That is what it means, because we've already kind of decided that you can super clock the brain. But I feel like you could just have this machine nowadays. I mean, like we have electrodes that can affect people's brains from the outside.
Are we talking about the nightmare eliminating machine still now?
Yeah, are we not talking about the?
Okay.
Do you want? I'm gonna.
Well, no, because you went on we established you can overclock the brain, and also this, and I lost track of what we were talking about for a second.
Listen,
I think I was stuck in the bicubic section of the brain.
Yeah, that's the issue. You got to get out of that that's a classic Freudian theory. You got to get out of the bicubic section of the brain. It is the majority of the brain.
Ascend into the nexus sector.
Yeah. I do like how the bicubic part of the brain occupies like a good 85% of the brain.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's up to you if this is what you want to do. We could also do gooey aliens that take over people's brains.
I feel like we've done gooey aliens that take over people's brains before, too.
It's called the years.
I feel like this is the most new material for us.
Okay.
The nightmare machine.
Okay. Well, here we go. I guess there's a couple of issues with the nightmare machine. I think they need to be conquered. One thing is, how does it identify
the nightmare machines or the nightmares themselves?
The nightmare machine. Listen. Once we create the nightmare machine, we will conquer nightmares. So
right.
The question is,
will it make my sleep paralysis demon go away, do you think?
Well, that's the thing. How does it identify what a nightmare is? Like, is it any time you get excited during a dream? Because that could be a lot of different kinds of dreams.
Yeah, I think, like, I don't know enough about brain activity during dreaming to know if you can, like, identify the difference between nightmares and
can you identify
dreams.
Nightmares? I spelled identify. Are nightmares real? Okay. So it's all completely based upon it's completely based upon people saying I had a nightmare. I had trouble sleeping because I had a scary dream.
Okay, are you not seeing that there's research like correlating like, oh yes, if there's a certain amount of activity in these places of the brain that correlates to likely be a nightmare? Or is it totally subjective depending on each person?
What happens to your brain during a nightmare? It's things like, increased responsiveness to internal sensory signals during dreaming stage. Although that's from scipost.org, so I don't know how great that is going to be.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's more things like you feel afraid. You have like limbic responses. You have emotional responses to while dreaming. It's not like a specific kind of activity.
Okay. Well, can we assume that Dexter has figured out a way to quantify these activity to like be able to identify if it's a nightmare or not? Because I mean, he's a little kid. He's got a lot of free time. You know.
Exactly. He is doing something with his life, not like Simon. As an adult. Okay, so here I just came across a kind of a fun little paper.
Right.
That kind of proposes that there's a drop in the activity of the frontal lobe during nightmares. So your more advanced functions aren't being implemented. It's just your kind of basest
just fear.
Yeah, it's just fear. It's like your lizard brain, but obviously that's an oversimplification. Neurocortex is not that simple. But that seems to be like the closest thing that people can find. So what if what it's doing is just it is bombarding your brain and making your frontal lobe just light up like a Christmas tree. So like it's just overpowering everything that's going on in the rest of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
So you're only dreaming about like weird abstract colors and shapes and things.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, like that kind of makes sense, but you did also just have a fun thought, it sounds like.
I did. You know, why are we trying to dream at all?
It just cancels all dreams, all nightmares.
Yeah, well, that's all about memory. Like, what if it's just like a Twilight anesthetic, and all it does is just inhibit your ability to make memories, and you can't remember your dreams?
Okay, yeah, I like that. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, like this exists currently as technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's how you make a fancy new world, a fancy new technology. You cut off your ability to remember the fact that you have nightmares.
Right, and that's fine.
Yeah, and that's all right. I don't dream, and that's all right. That's Jeff's memoir.
Hey, I didn't send you the pre-published manuscript yet.
I know. I hacked your computer and I've already read it.
Not my special only manuscript computer with the password manuscript 123.
Exactly. It's manuscript 123. That it's oddly enough, that is Jeff's password for everything, but it just also happens to be the password for the manuscript computer.
Right.
It's so that he can remember it. That's what it is. Because you use it enough, and you're like, oh, I know what this is about.
Well, I mean, it's so you only need the one sticky note attached to your monitor.
Yeah.
If it has the password for everything on it.
Yeah, because Jeff also on the side pretends that he's a cartoon villain.
Pretends.
Jeff is actually a cartoon villain, as is demonstrated by his mustache and lack of hair.
Oh man, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, don't let the smiling face fool you. He's a sociopath. He's completely
real
disjointed.
nefarious fella.
Yeah, completely disjointed from reality. Just kind of does whatever he wants. But he does have a memoir. I think this should be a daily or an episode. You know what? Let's make it a daily practice of just making fun of you
and my mustache
publicly. That's what I think we should start doing. Maybe that's what we should do. We should just stop producing this podcast and just start producing, like 5-minute long clips that get released.
Dunking on Jeff podcast.
Dunking on Jeff. Yeah, I mean, people will be like, "Who's Jeff? What does he look like?" No one has ever seen his face. What are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, they'll have a pretty good image because we'll
slowly build
a lot of rich material you can use to dunk on.
Yeah, we'll have to explain every single time we come up with a new thing to dunk on. We'll have to explain what it is.
Just unpack the dunk.
Unpack the dunk.
There you go. That's the episode or the podcast name.
Yeah, exactly. Unpack the dunk. Wait, why do we not call our Space Jam episode Unpack the Dunk? Because that is, I mean, come on.
It's actually kind of a good name.
It is. Listen, we're just gonna sit here in silence for a little while and just hate ourselves. You can do whatever you want, listener.
This is your time now.
Yeah, come back in like 2 to 3 minutes, and the episode will be ending.
We yield our 3 minutes of rambling outro to you.
Yeah, talk to yourself, talk to the people around you. Really explore the space like we do. Maybe come up with a few new goofs. Realize that your outros are probably funnier than the main episode.
Right.
And then, just get kind of sad.
And, that's fine.
Yeah.
As long as you got that one bit of solid comedy.
Yeah.
People sit through your hour-long garbage to get to the good bit.
Yeah, or they just skip right to the end.
They can do that?
Well,
beans.
And now that's.
Don't let them know.
Yeah. Jeff also lives in a world where scrubbing is not a thing. Editing audio is horrible for Jeff.
That's true. Was this actually our outro? Is that what we're doing right now?
Don't know.
I was just kind of playing along. Is this it?
This is Jeff. Guys, is this normal? Is this what we're doing? Yeah, I was just gonna have that be our outro. Bye, guys.
All right. That's fine. I guess tell us how good we did on this outro at pedantichandwavium.com, and we will revisit the audio to see how bad I goofed. We're also at Twitter at phandwavium. We're on the YouTubes. I think we're just Pedantic Handwavium. We are again there.
Just Pedantic Handwavium. I did realize I misspelled the word Jurassic. It's 1 R and 2 S's, not 2 R's and 2 S's.
I wonder if I did a good job on that.
I don't think you did. I think it also might be misspelled in the. Now that I'm thinking about it, might misspell this in the episode as well.
Good. We'll just keep it. Can't edit it now.
Can't change it yet. It will be. I mean, it's not like it's the first spelling error we've made. Our original logo doesn't make any sense.
Right. What else? Is that it? Joe Sopchak, thank you for the theme music.
Yep.
What else? We're on any podcasting app that you have found us on.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And you should like and subscribe to us on those podcasting apps so that you can get these new episodes as soon as they come out, like I do. Because I, unlike Jeff, listen to the podcast because I enjoy it.
Several times, apparently.
I don't know. But from different computers.
Right. So, I was talking in terms of, editing and also listening to it, not like padding the downloads.
Oh. Yeah, I don't pad the downloads. I don't do that. That would be absurd. Well, who would do that?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so potential ethics concerns aside, good night, listener. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Oh, I should stop this.